Hey Mina, how you doing? Thank you so much for submitting your work. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. I don't think I really need to open up the JPEG. I think we have everything we need right here. So um, yeah, okay, so the text is the same on all four. That's fantastic. That's a great start. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first. Now the first iteration requires no contrast in size or weight, and all hierarchy is based on grouping. So right now you've got equal spacing between here. So this is all equal hierarchy. Now, if you were to take that title, that Dodge Charger title, and move it up a little bit, it would create a little bit of separation. So if you were to separate this and bring these closer, it would create further hierarchy because this would be first position on hierarchy based on proximity. Okay. The next thing I want to mention is to be sure to adhere to the grid. Right now, your grid line is right at the edge of the page. And we know from graphic design basic principles that that's a very uncomfortable situation. What you want to do is you want to set up on a margin in all of your compositions and adhere to that margin so that we're not confronted with this situation of the type being right up against the edge of the page there. Okay, now in the second design, we're introducing one new size and one new weight. And it looks like you have introduced both right here. So what I would recommend doing in the second one is introduce a new weight. A new size. So you could even introduce the new size in this by increasing that scale of that point size a little bit. So that way you would be introducing a new size and a new weight. And that is required, one new size, one new weight in the second composition. Third composition, we want multiple contrasts in height and weight. And right now, I think this would be indicative for number two because you've got two changes. You've got a new weight and a new scale, right? But in number three, we want multiple scale and weight. So you have to address that accordingly. In the fourth is a little bit different. So in the fourth, you want to include your car, but it has got to be in black and white. Remember that from the let's jump over to the assignment page, which is right here. I just want to show you some of the requirements in the assignment page. So if we go over to right here, darn it, I went to the wrong, darn it. Week 3, there we go. Sorry about that. Anyway, so as we see right here, black and white only, okay? And then that car needs to, if we come down to the bottom here, number 4, the image must be cropped. And you must incorporate the crop portion of your muscle car along with any number of sizes and weights of your text. And then it must violate the grid and also bleed off the page in at least 2 places. So cropped means you have to cut the background out of that. Okay, and bleeding in 2 places, which this is, right there and right there. Okay, so let me show you an example. And this is over in the course announcements, welcome to week 3. And this is really a fantastic announcement. It looks like you have looked at that. So be sure you really go through this. There's a ton of information in here. This is a great lesson right here on how to establish hierarchy directly related to our assignment here. But what I want to show you is this. See how that car is cropped and it's bleeding on 2 sides of the page. So in this one, in the example, we can see the first has no contrasts and all hierarchy is based on grouping. So we can see that this is kind of set off a little bit from the group. Okay, so that would take first position in hierarchy. In the second design, we have one new size and one new weight. There's the new size, there's the new weight. That's what I was talking about, right? And then in the third one, we have multiple sizes and multiple weights, as we can see here, 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 here. And then in the fourth one, we have multiple sizes, multiple weights, cropped image, broken grid, and then the black and white car bleeding in 2 areas. Okay, so that's what we're after. And again, these are the parameters for each of the 4 assignments, and looks like your file was set up just fine. So that's what I would recommend. I would recommend really, okay, so in this one, just try to create a separation so that there's one thing that stands out from the next. This one, you introduced a new weight, but we need a new size in here as well. And this one, third one, we need multiple contrasts in weight and scale. And then the fourth one, we need multiple contrasts in weight and scale. Cropped image, carb bleeding, black and white bleeding in 2 places. Okay, so that's my recommendations for moving into the final submission. So, and be sure to take a look at the announcements, take a look at the example here, and here's some great tutorials on setting up grids. All sorts of stuff in this announcement, Mina. So be sure to go through this announcement a few times to really understand. And then really, really super important is get to our textbook, get on page 101. Okay, 101 of the textbook shows this exercise, something extremely similar to this exercise. It shows you how to establish hierarchy based on changes in scales and weight. So be sure to review that. At this point, Mina, if you have any questions at all, please let me know, and I will be glad to make any necessary clarifications. And I know you wanted to set up a Zoom meeting, and I'm fine with that, but I had sent you an email. So if you just take a look at that, we can figure out what time. I know you were looking for a Wednesday morning, but unfortunately, I was pretty tied up all Wednesday morning. So just let me know. I'll be glad to accommodate in that regard. All right. Thank you, Mina. Thank you very much. Of course, very important. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. Thanks.